Hello, hello. My name is Craig Best. I'll be your facilitator for the Qigong class tonight or this morning, whenever you're catching this. At this moment, it's almost 6 p.m. It is April 13th, 2021, Tuesday night. You could be catching this replay whenever. As always, this is a Qigong class, Qigong practice. For those who are new to Qigong, Qigong comes from China. It's an ancient Chinese practice for health, wellness. Qigong actually stands for working with your energy. It's spelled Qigong, the Qi that represents energy, your life force, can even represent breath. And Gong represents to work, to cultivate. So we're going to be working with our energy. And the practice is going to consist of gentle movements coordinated with the breath. Our arms flowing with inhalation and exhalation. Movements can be done standing, as I am now, or seated, or even laying down. This is your practice. So tonight's practice, or the practice whatever time you're catching this, the first 5 minutes, we're just going to ease our way into the practice. We're just going to get situated into the present moment, align the body, the breath, the mind. Those are our 3 treasures. And then we're going to move into the first half of the class, do the 5 first half movements. And for the second half of class, we'll have some tapping, some stretching, and some more flowing movements. And then we'll do a standing meditation to end the class. Standing meditation is a foundational part of Qigong. And that will be the agenda for tonight's class. Hope that is helpful. I'd like to break it down so you understand what you will have on your plate, your Qigong practice plate for tonight. And some guidelines for the practice: take breaks, listen to yourself. Qigong is about health, wellness, listening. It's not about strain. It's not about pain. It's not about feeling stress. If you're noticing that you're feeling any of those things, please stop and address that. Qigong is about doing the movements so you get to listen to yourself, do movements repetitively, rhythmically, so it can help you shift from the state of thinking and stress into being more here, present, and relaxed. So we'll start the class in just a moment. Thanks again for all those who are checking out this practice, who are attending. If you are watching via Facebook Live and you have any questions, you can put it down or type out a comment. I'll get back to you. Thanks again. And we'll start this class in just a moment. And to introduce this Qigong class, let's just take an opportunity to check in with ourselves, check in with our environment. Notice what you're feeling right now. And if you like, you can look around your environment, make sure you have space to move, space to just be. Qigong is not about doing, it's about being. Allowing yourself the opportunity to not worry about what you have to do or what you did earlier today. We're just taking an opportunity to take care of ourselves through mindful, gentle movement. So now let's transition into aligning the 3 treasures. We're going to start off with aligning the body. As I mentioned, check in with your environment. Again, make sure you have enough space. And if maybe it feels better to sit down, stand up, or you can alternate, this is your practice. Let's move into aligning the body. I'll just start with what connects you to this earth right now. For myself, it's the feet. So maybe you'd like to bring your attention to your feet. Noticing, bringing awareness to the feet connected to the earth and seeing how that feels. Do you notice the texture of the ground? Do you notice the temperature? Just bring your awareness to the present moment. And now let's align the rest of the body. Check with your knees. Knees are nice and soft. For those who are standing, knees can have a slight bend. If you'd like, you can lock and gently unlock your knees. Let's check in with the pelvis. Pure bone is tilted upwards, and the tailbone is tucked underneath the spine. This levels the pelvic bowl. Let's check in with the chest. Chest is open. Let's check in with the arms. Arms are hanging down. Slight bend in the elbows. Palms are open. Fingers can be spread apart. Again, just being soft and loose. Let's check in with the neck and the shoulders. This is an opportunity to do any exercises or stretches that feel good in those areas. Or you can follow along with what I'm doing. I'm going to take time to do a couple of shoulder shrugs. Actually, let's say 3 shoulder shrugs. And then I'm moving to doing some neck exercises, which will consist of just looking down left and right and some neck rotations. So let's begin. Let's start with shoulder shrugs. So let's inhale and shrug our shoulders up to our ears. Exhale, let the shoulders drop. You can do that 2 more times. Inhale. One more time. Inhale. Noticing how that feels. Sighing can be a way to reset the nervous system. Try it out, see if that feels good for you. It may or may not. Different practices work for different people. And now we can take an opportunity to release stress and tension in our neck. So if you'd like to follow along, you can just gaze up and look up. Then allow chin to lower, look down. Let's do that again. Up. And look back down. And then bring the head back to the center. And we're going to look left and right. And one side note, for those who do not know, I'll be mirroring you in this practice, so just follow my movements. They should mirror your movements. So let's look to the right and look to the left, being mindful and gentle with the neck. And one more time, both directions. Bring your head back to center. And we can take an opportunity to do some neck rotations. So you can allow the chin to drop. And allow the nose to lead the movement, circling. You can do 2 circles in one direction and then reverse the movement. When you're all set, just bring the head back over the spine, head over heart. We're going to finish aligning the body. Let's just imagine there's a string that comes down from the ceiling, the sky. It comes down, lowers down, connects to the top of our head. So it pulls us upright, yet we're hanging from the string, loose. This allows the spine to be upright. Let's check in with the eyes. Eyes can be at a half gaze. They can be soft, whatever allows you just again feel good. You can check in with the mouth. Mouth can be in the form of a smile or whatever feels good for you. Tongue can be relaxed, or it can be connected to the roof of the mouth. That connects energy pathways in the body, so the tongue can be connected to the roof of the mouth and touching the back of the 2 front teeth. Lastly, let's check in with the brow and the jaw. Notice if you have any tension there. See that you can release tension. We tend to carry a lot of tension in those areas in our face. You can unhinge the jaw. You can check in with the brow and see you can just let go tension there. And now that we have aligned the body, let's move into aligning the breath. Let's bring awareness to a breath that feels comfortable for you. Just noticing it, not changing it. If you'd like to follow the type of breathing we'll be doing in the practice, you're welcome to. Otherwise, just engage in natural breathing, whatever feels good for you. The breathing I'll be doing during the practice is called Dantian breathing, also known as belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. And to demonstrate, I'll just bring the left hand to the abdomen. So when I inhale, I'm taking a deep breath. The lungs fill, the abdomen expands. As I exhale, lungs empty, abdomen softens. Do this one more time. Inhale, lungs fill, abdomen expands, navel moves away from the spine. Exhale, navel moves close to the spine, abdomen softens, lungs empty. Diaphragmatic breathing, also known as Dantian breathing, can help with stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us shift into more of a relaxed state. And see if that works for you. Lastly, let's align the mind. The saying is, where the mind goes, the chi flows. So let's set an intention to bring our attention to the present moment. The ways you can do that is checking in with the movements as you're doing the practice, checking in with your breath, noticing what you see or experience in your environment, checking in with your senses, or turning towards your internal environment if that's available to you. You can check in with sensations, tingling, or even if it's available to you, checking in with your energy. The goal of this practice is, again, to take care of yourself. Come back to the present moment where you have the most power, the most agency. So let's begin this practice. We're going to start with full body breathing. So with our arms relaxed down by our side, let's begin. Let's inhale and draw the hands towards the sky. And on the exhale, we allow our hands to float down by the side. And we're going to restart this movement. Inhale, hands float up. Exhale, hands float out and down by the side. Noticing how that feels. Inhale up. Exhale down. As always, running at your pace, at your own pace and speed. Modifying the movement so it suits you. Let's do this movement in this direction 2 more times. Noticing how you feel, noticing what you feel. And this will be my final repetition in this direction. And now I will reverse the direction of the movement. So we're going to find ourselves inhaling, hands up by the side. And we'll now exhale, the hands down in front of the body. Noticing how that feels. Take time to check in with the zone. You can take breaks, get rest, opportunity to listen, to learn, just to be. I'm going to do 2 more repetitions of this movement. Then we'll transition to the next movement. So this is my final repetition on my end. And I'll transition to the next movement. Do that, I'll bring the hands in front of Datian, the waist. Palms will be turned up towards the sky, fingers pointing towards each other, a little space in between, whatever feels comfortable for you. And we're going to begin. So we're going to inhale the hands up to heart height. Turn the hands over, palms now facing downward. Exhale. Hands float down. And when we start to move, turn the palms up. Inhale. The lungs fill. Turn the palms over. Exhale. Lungs empty. Hands float down. Noticing what you feel. Let's do this 3 more times. And this will be my last repetition. And we'll transition to the next gesture. And we're going to do that by turning the palms up. Inhale the hands up to the heart. And we're going to imagine that we're holding a ball between our 2 hands. Fingers are now pointed upwards. Noticing how that feels. You can take this moment to just pause. Check in with yourself. Check in with how you connect to the ground, your breath, your energy, just what you're noticing and feeling at the moment. And let's transition to the next gesture, heart opening gesture. So we're now going to extend our hands out in front of the body, slight bend the elbows. And let's begin. So we're going to inhale, allow our hands to separate and open up. Feel a stretch in the chest. You can gaze upward. Exhale, looking forward. Bring the hands back close together, but not touching. And we're going to restart this movement. Inhale, open up. Feel the stretch in the chest. Exhale, forward. Release. Slowly bring the hands back close together. And again, go at your own pace. Let's do 2 more repetitions at our own pace and speed. And I have 1 more repetition to do on my end. all set, just returning to that initial position. Hands extended out in front of the chest, slight bend the elbows. We're going to take an opportunity to play with this ball that we're holding in between our hands. And you can do that any way you want, or you can follow along. Whatever feels good to you. Let's start. Maybe you'd like to imagine that you can rotate the ball between the two palms. You can start in one direction, then reverse it, see how that feels. Or maybe you have the ability to expand and contract the ball. Opening up, expanding, closing, contracting. Noticing what you feel. No worries if you don't feel anything. Just bring again our attention to the present moment. Following and flowing with the movement. Maybe just want to move that ball around. Moving it through space, the air. How would you like to play with it for a moment? Again, noticing what you feel and how you feel. This is your practice. What would feel good for you? And we'll bring this moment of playing and creative exploration to a close. So let's return to that initial position. Our hands extended out in front, body, chest, palms facing each other. We're going to transition to the next movement. We're going to turn the palms so they're facing towards the chest, body, fingers point towards each other. We're now going to inhale, draw in the hands towards the chest. We're now going to exhale, allow the hands to trace down over the torso. We're going to transition to the next move. We're going to swivel the palms around so they'll turn up. We're going to now inhale, the hands up to about shoulder height or whatever feels good. Turn the palms over, exhale, allow the hands to flow down. And you can let the hands flow past the body. Restart the movement. Inhale. Hands float up to shoulder height. Exhale. Turn the hands over. Arms flow down. And what do you notice? What do you sense? How does the flow feel in your body? Going at your own pace. Modifying the movements that serves you. I'll do a couple variations of this movement. Do the variation where we shift the weight on the bottom of the feet. Then we'll do the other variation where we bring the feet together and step them apart. So let's start with shifting the weight on the bottom of the feet. So the next time you find yourself inhaling hands up, you can shift the weight to the foot of the feet. And turn the palms over as you exhale, shifting the weight to the back of each foot. Seeing how that feels. Inhale, shift the weight to the ball of each foot. Exhale, shifting the weight to the heel of each foot. It's a way of giving your feet a foot massage. Feel on nerve endings of the feet. If you want to make this more of a balanced practice, as your hands are flowing down, you're shifting the weight into the heels, you can lift the toes. So we complete the inhales, and as you inhale, you can rise up onto the ball of your foot. You can even lift up the heels if that's available to you. See how that feels. It's an option, it's a variation. The key thing is to do what feels best for you. Do this variation 2 more times, and we'll transition to the next one. Bring the feet together, step them apart. And this will be our last repetition of first variation. And let's transition to the second one. Let's bring feet together. So as we inhale, bring the left foot to the right. Turn the palms over, exhale, left steps away from the right. Do the opposite. Inhale, right steps towards left. Exhale, right steps away from the left foot. Noticing how you feel. There are variations within this variation. Maybe as you bring the feet together, you're keeping most of the weight in one foot and you're posting the other. Or maybe you'd like to try and make this a balance practice, and as you bring the feet together, you're actually going to lift it the foot. See how that feels. I'll do 2 more passes for each side. And then we can do 2 more passes of standing in place. So the hands are just flowing up and down as the feet remain planted. And this will conclude this movement. And when you finish your last repetition, just allow your arms just hang down, remain loose. And just checking with yourself, checking with your shoulders, checking with your wrists, checking with your feet, your knees, your neck, your head. Just noticing what you feel, noticing how you feel. We're going to transition into shaking, also known as cooking chi, shake the tree. Just a way to move, to maybe bounce, dance, whatever you feel called to do. So we can begin. I'll start off gently. I'm just going to start off by shaking the hands. I'm going to let that shaking travel throughout the rest of my body into the arms, chest, the head, torso, legs. And we'll do this for a few minutes. We will incorporate living breaths in a moment too. But taking this opportunity to shake is a way of releasing stress. Stress gets stored in our body. Movement helps us release some of that stress. So you can shake from side to side. You can jump up and down if you have that, or just pump the heels. Or you can do that dog wagging the tail movement. Whatever feels good for you. did mention breathing breaths. For those who are new and want to know what's going on with breathing breaths, breathing breaths is just a way of releasing stress audibly, vocally through the breath. You can follow along. I'll be doing 3 breathing breaths. To follow along, I'll say inhale, you're taking a deep breath. And on the exhale, you just let out whatever feels good to you. Could be a sigh, a yawn, just whatever sound feels good. On my end, it will be sighs. So let's begin. Inhale. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. One more time. Inhale. All right. Just do the finishing sequence to close this shaking practice. So feel like you bring your hands out to the side. And we're going to stretch up, reach towards the sky. Move your hands out to in front. Reach out in front of you. And the hands float to the back. Reach behind you. And then we can allow our hands to drop. Imagine that you're connecting close to the earth, or if you have that ability, you can bend and reach towards the ground. And then for the last 30 seconds, this is however you want to shake. Could be the high vibration shake. It's really shaking. Or just something slow and gentle. Because we just got 20, 15 seconds to go. Taking your time to just slow down and end the shaking practice. If it's available to you, you can come to stillness and you can just notice your senses. If stillness is not available to you, another option is swaying from side to side, seeing how that feels, or rocking forward and backwards. These are all options. We're just taking an opportunity to pause. Again, if stillness is an option, see how it feels to turn inwards. But again, that might not be available to you. Then check in with your environment. It's an opportunity to just be present. Noticing how you feel. Notice what's happening in this moment. It's a break from the thinking, the ruminating, from having to go, do. Let's just take this pause in whatever form that shows up for you. If you like, you can bring your hands to connect with yourself, your body, maybe to bring healing energy towards yourself, or to comfort yourself, or to check in with energy centers or your heart, your breath, what would feel good to be with right now. We're just going to be for another 20 seconds. And when you all say, just allow your hands to flow down. Taking this hang from the side. We're going to transition to the second half of class. Got about 28 minutes to go. The breakdown will be tapping, a couple of stretching exercises, and then we'll do some flowing movements and a standing meditation to end class. So there we go. Start with transitioning to tapping Tapping is just body tapping, a way of just checking in with yourself. But if body tapping brings up stuff, I recommend either doing massaging, just light pressure on your body, or tracing, where your hands do not touch over your body. You just trace wherever the areas I'm going over. So for this tapping portion, I'm going to go over the chest, the abdomen, arms, shoulders, legs, and the head. So there we go. So I'm going to start off with tapping the chest. Do what feels good for you. Whatever intensity, whatever movements feel good, you can follow along. Again, this is your practice. So let's begin. I'm just going to gently tap chest, making soft fists, my hands, and I'll get a little bit closer. Noticing how you connect with yourself, noticing that you are here. And we're going to transition to connecting with the abdomen. And this can still be a gentle tapping, or you can make this more of a massage movement. Just bring the hands, connecting the hands together and just circle, if that feels better. That is an option. And let's say we circle the hands over the abdomen in one direction 7 times, and then we reverse that. Just a way of connecting with ourselves, our energy. And when you're all set, checking in with your abdomen, let's transition to tapping or massaging or tracing over the arms. I am going to transition to the right arm. So I'm going to extend the right arm out. I'm going to start from just tapping the neck and the shoulder, and just tapping down the inner arm of the right arm. Turn the palm over, tapping up the outer arm. And doing this 2 more times for a total of 3 times. As always, going at your own pace and speed. And when you're all set with the right arm, transitioning to the left. Tapping down the inner arm of the left hand. Tapping up the other arm. Doing this for a total of 3 times. All right. And I'm going to do something different before we transition to the lower body. Let's tap the head, then we'll do the sides of the body, then we'll move down to the lower body, lower back to the lower body. So we can start just tapping the head. Again, whatever feels good for you. But you can just imagine there are raindrops. You can just use your fingers. We'll do this for a few more seconds. All right, and let's transition to tapping down the side of the body. So we can allow our right hand to float up, and we'll just start from the armpit. We'll just tap down, but we won't tap up. And restarting. So tap down, but not tapping up. One more time. And we'll switch. Staying left hand up, starting from left armpit, tapping down to about the waist there. And last one for me. we're going to transition to tapping the lower back, the kidney area, and then going down the back of the legs, up the inner legs, and then we'll tap the side of the legs. That'll be it for the tapping practice, but let's transition. Just tapping the back, the lower back. You can make soft fists, you can use your palms, or you can even massage, whatever feels good for you. And we can transition to starting from the lower back and tapping down the back of the legs, tapping the front of the feet, and tapping up the inner legs, one step back. And we can do that 2 more times, tapping down the back. And when you finish your 3 times, we'll finish a whole tapping practice off. And we'll just tap down, starting from the hips, the side of the legs, and we'll just tap down, rise back up, tap down 2 more times. So just like this. And one more time. All right. Let's transition to doing a couple of stretching exercises. We can check in with our wrists. If you like, you can do wrist circles, or just circle the wrists around, or you can clasp the hands and just release stress this way. I'm going to go with this, but letting you know that you have options and variations. So you can circle the wrists this way and then reverse it. So allow the hands to flow down. Let's get an opportunity to do some hip stretches, hip rotations. So we can place our hands, our waist, and we can just rotate the hips, circling in one direction. Let's do 3 circles in one direction, then reversing the movement. Being kind and generous to yourself. All right. Then we'll transition to some movements that warm up and stretch the spine. 2 I like to do are picking cherries and spinal cord breathing, spinal opening movement. So I'll start with picking cherries. So what we can do, you can have one hand or maybe even both hands, whatever feels comfortable for you. But you can bring both hands, or maybe you just want to do one hand at a time. I'll start with the right hand, bring it up to about shoulder height. And what you'll do is just reach up. Imagine that you can pick out fruit from a tree. If you want to really deepen the stretch, you can allow the right hand to float more towards the left side so you can feel more of the stretch into the right side of the body. Then you can pick that fruit, allow the hand to put down. Then you can bring up the other hand. You can even drop the hand or just keep them both the same height. And you can reach up with the left hand, picking fruit. You want to deepen the stretch. Allow the left hand to float more to the right side so you can feel more of that stretch in your left side. Noticing how that feels, and then pick the fruit. And you can alternate if you like, deepening the stretch if that feels comfortable, or just remaining more upright and stretching. Just imagine that you're picking fruit off a tree. We'll do this 2 more times, 1 more pass for each side. And we'll transition to spinal cord breathing. So with our hands still in this position, we're just going to palms turn a little bit more out, open, gaze up a little bit, but that's not necessary. And what we're going to do is Bring the forearms, hands together. Tuck the chin in, round the upper back. Then you can inhale if you like, open up the hands, open the chest, arch the upper back. Exhale, bring the arms together. Tuck the tailbone in, round the upper back. So this movement is just open the spine. Let's do this 2 more times. When you're all set, you can just allow the hands to just float down, out and down. All right. Got about 15 minutes of class left. So let's take an opportunity to transition to some flowing movements. I like movements from a lot of good teachers. I'll try to incorporate a few people and make sure to give them credit. So let's just start off with a simple movement. Let's start off with opening chest. It's a movement I've seen in a lot of practices. I know I've seen Ken Cohen do this movement. And also done by one of the students, meaning Kuro Deemer. So we're going to start off where we have the arms hanging down by the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to inhale, allow hands to float up to chest height. Continue to inhale, open, arms float to the side, and exhale, arms float down. Noticing how that feels. So inhale, arms float up. Inhale, open the chest, arms float out to the side. Exhale, arms float down. Even incorporate sinking and rising. So inhale, open up. Open out. Exhale, as the hands float down, you can sink down, slight bend in the knees. You got the hang of it, go at your own pace and speed. Let's do this 3 more times. All right. When you're all set with the movement, just again checking in with yourself. Noticing how you're standing, notice your position, noticing how the weight is distributed between your feet. Notice if you feel any tension or tightness anywhere in your body. See if you can bring kindness or release that tension, tightness. We're going to transition to the next exercise, which is fish jumping out of the water. This is an exercise that I've seen performed, practiced by Nick Lopping. And we're just going to begin. Imagine that our hands are fish flowing through water, but we're just going to move the hands from side to side. So we're just going to just shift. Hands are about by the waist, lower down to the just floating. Side by side. Noticing how that feels. Imagine that your hands are fish, they're just moving through water, side by side. And what we're going to do is imagine the fish are going to jump out of the water. Here's how we're going to do that. As the hands are floating to the right side, we're going to take the left hand. It will float up and out, and it's going to float over to the left side. And then we're going to transition to the other hand. So as the right hand is floating to the left side, it's going to lift up, out and over, back to the right side. And we're just going to alternate. So when the left hand is moving to the right side, it's going to float up, out of the water, back to the left side. The right hand is floating to the left, jumps out and out. Breathe in, natural. Let's do 2 more passes, 1 more pass for each hand. And now we can just allow the hands to just float on a horizontal plane from right to left. No jumping. And then you can just slow down and come back to the center and just allow the hands to just hang. Noticing how that feels. We're going to transition to another movement. This movement comes from Jeffrey Chan. I tend to do this movement quite a bit in my practices. It's called lifting ball. And this is a practice where we just move one arm at a time. So we're going to start off with the left hand. I'm just going to imagine that we are holding a ball that has some weight to it. Don't want to say it's a ping pong ball. Maybe it's doesn't necessarily have to be a ball. It can be a heavy fruit. Just something where you feel weight in your hand. And what you're going to do is we're going to imagine that we're holding that ball. We're just going to continue to hold that ball. Inhale, draw out the hand across the body to about shoulder height, chest height, whatever feels good. Then turn the palm over and allow the hand to release. You can exhale. And we're going to do the other side. So now with the right hand, hold the ball. Or again, something that feels heavy. And we're going to inhale, draw it diagonal across the body. Up to about shoulder height where it feels good. Turn the palm over, exhale, allow it to release. And we're going to continue to alternate. So back to the left hand, inhale. Draw up. Turn the palm over, exhale, release. Allow it to gently lower. We're going to do this for 2 more passes on each side. So inhale. And these will be my last passes for each hand. All right. Gonna do, well, I think I have two more gestures I can do before the standing meditation. Let's transition to the next exercise, which will be, it's called disperse and release, and this comes from Dr. Roger Jaka, but also tends to look like ocean. So whatever feels good for you. So what I'm gonna do is gonna step out with my right foot, and you can do it where you are shifting forward and backwards. And you can just imagine that you're releasing energy, or you can imagine that you have the ability to control or be with the tide, and you're pushing the tide out, shifting forward, bringing the tide in, shifting back. That feels good for you. So we can just move into this Qigong gesture. As you're drawing hands in, shifting back, you can inhale, exhale, press the hands out. Inhale, draw the hands in. Going at your own pace and speed. Noticing what you see in your mind's eye whenever visualizations are coming up. Maybe you are connecting with the ocean, with water. Maybe you're connecting with things that you like to release out of your life. Let's do this 2 more times on this side, then we'll switch to the other side. So draw the right foot in, step out with the left foot. You can just shift back and forward and backwards. And just bring the hands up or lower, depending if you have stretch in the shoulders. Whatever feels good. Exhale, press the hands out, shifting forward. Inhale, drawing the hands in. Finding a rhythm, finding a flow. Let's do this 3 more times. This is my final repetition. Allow the hands trace over the torso, bring the left foot. Just noticing how that feels. And let's just do one more exercise before we do the standing meditation. Still got about 2.5 minutes left before class closes. So we'll go with the integration flow. That's a great closing Qigong gesture. So what we can do is with the hands, just relax. We're going to bring one hand to the dantian, the waist. Could be the right hand, could be the left hand. That feels good, but I'm bringing the right hand, palm is facing up by the abdomen, just underneath the navel. And we're going to bring the left hand. You're going to inhale up towards the sky. And with the fingers still pointing towards the sky, we're going to exhale and draw it down the midline of the body, floating down towards the right hand. Now the left hand will take the place of the right hand. The right hand will inhale and circle up towards the sky. Fingers pointing up, exhale down the midline. Let's do this 2 more times. Left hand draws up on the inhale. Exhale, draws down the midline. Do one more repetition with the right hand. for a brief moment, we can bring both palms over the dantian, the lower abdomen, just noticing, just being here for a brief moment. I did mention that we'll do a standing meditation, and we'll do that, a very brief one, a 30-second one. So we'll just allow hands just to release off the body, hang down by the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to inhale out the wrists to draw up to about shoulder height. We're going to allow the fingers to turn towards so the palms are facing towards the chest. You imagine that you're hugging and embracing a tree. Shoulders are dropped, elbows can drop, and we're going to hold this position for 30 seconds. Taking the opportunity to be with stillness, but there is movement within the stillness. Just being with this foundational Qigong gesture. Just holding, being with this position. But if you are feeling any tension anywhere, you can relax, release this movement, or see if you can release that tension. And do this for another 15 seconds. All right. When you're all set, you can turn your palms facing towards the floor, allow the hands to flow down. And we're going to close this practice. So we're now going to inhale both hands up towards the sky. Palms facing in that direction. You can bring the left foot to the right. And as the hands make it overhead, turn the palms towards yourselves. Exhale. Take in whatever you need from this class. We're going to do this movement 2 more times without moving the legs. So inhale, both hands circle up. Palms face towards you. Exhale. Shower yourself with goodness, support, energy, whatever you need in this moment. And one more time, one last time. Gather. And take in, shower yourself. That energy, that love. And to completely close class, this moment, I will not be mirroring you. You can bring up your right hand, make a soft fist. This will represent yang energy, energy of the day, action. And you can bring up your left hand, palm is open. This will represent yin energy, energy of the night, relaxation, so much more. We're going to bring both hands to the center, left hand over the right hand, and take this opportunity to bow to yourself for engaging in this Qigong practice that's been practiced for thousands of years, that comes from China. Mindfulness practice, practice of self-care. And take an opportunity to thank you for attending this practice, and for all those who have attended, allowing me to share these teachings and gestures. Hope this practice has supported you. And I'd like to thank Toivo, Qigong, Darren Drum, so many great teachers and people I've learned from. And thank you. May this have served you and your well-being as just a person who's taking care of themselves and just being present. Thank you. Till next time. Be well.